chaps, how the devil? It's your favourite time of the week. It is Sunday the 16th of May 2021. And it is of course time for the BBC Spews. Yes! What have we got for you this week? Well, you know the usual. The usual. Identity politics, commie claptrap on every single page. It's fucking killing me. It's soul destroying reading this bloody website. Fucking 6 days a week. But here I am, doing my bit to educate you. Reading the BBC so you don't have to, you lucky devils. Please like and share the video. I don't shill the channel enough. And have a look at my links down below if you want to buy a shite t-shirt. Or me some booze. Let's crack on, shall we? First things first. This one's linked to a point that I've made many times before. Chrissy Teigen, despite having a slightly wonky face, is for some reason viewed with some importance in the United States. I don't know why. Frankly, I think people that fling themselves around the bedroom while looking at pictures of these fucking e-thots, you know, OnlyFans and Instagram girls, frankly, I think they need a hobby. But I don't get to choose what's popular in the world. Maybe that explains why fucking insipid shit all over YouTube has millions of subscribers and highbrow intellectual political commentary like this. Stuck in the doldrums. Definitely nothing to do with Susan, right? Definitely not. Susan! So Chrissy Teigen is, like I've said many times before, typical of this generation of woke, ultra woke, detestable scumbags. The more somebody talks about how decent and noble and just and honest and honourable they are, the more likely it is that they've got some fucking heads in the freezer, yeah? The more likely it is that they finger nuns against their will. It's just the way of the world. And Chrissy Teigen, if you didn't hear, and hopefully you didn't, Chrissy Teigen is always beating the drum about tolerance and diversity and wokeism. So of course, the obvious happened, and it turns out that she's about as fucking polite and decent as a boot in the bollocks of Frankenstein's monster. It says, US model Chrissy Teigen has apologised to TV personality Courtney Stodden for bullying them online a decade ago. Bullying them, obviously. If it doesn't make sense in the English language, it's wokeism. Teigen allegedly sent Stodden messages on Twitter urging them to take their own life. Oh, I've seen them. I've seen them doing the rounds on Twitter. She didn't allegedly send them. She fucking sent them. Many of them. Sick shit, like blow your head off, throw yourself down a well, bury yourself alive, you cunt. It was awful. The type of shit you'd expect from a 13-year-old school bully. And she was a fucking grown woman. She said she's ashamed and completely embarrassed of her actions. Oh yeah, well, weird, innit? Offence archaeology, it's starting to work both ways, isn't it? That's the term Toby Young used. I like it. Offence archaeology. Digging through social media, desperately seeking out anything you can use to smear someone, smear your political opponents. It's childish. It's ridiculous. You can do shit 10 years ago. You can change completely in 10 years. 10 years ago I was an absolute lady slayer. Now I'm a sad bastard who only has sex in the missionary position. Twice a month tops. It happens. We all change. So I don't agree with offence archaeology. But like we keep saying, you will eat yourselves. You will eat yourselves. Lefties, are you listening? Are you watching? Stop it. If you keep behaving in this detestable manner, they will come for you eventually. They are full-blown commies, the people that run your fucked up infantile movement, and they will come for you eventually, because if you look hard enough, you will find shit on anyone. Like the famed detectives say, show me the man, I will find you the crime. Nobody is clean. They will come for you eventually. If you're like Matty or any of my tiny minority of ridiculous lefty followers, they'll come for you eventually. And it'll be left to people like me to stick up for you, which I'm going to do for Chrissy Teigen now. Again, she's allowed to be a bit of a twat 10 years ago. Telling someone to top themselves when she was a bit younger? Yeah, bit of a dick thing to do. Does she deserve fucking throwing down the well herself? No, she doesn't. It's hard to defend these people, but defend them I will. And also, I have no interest in there is, whatever there is. Whatever there is. I would assume by the threepenny bits and the appearance, there is a fucking bird with a cracking set of threepenny bits. But fuck knows, in this day and age. If you can present as a woman with a cracking set of threepenny bits and be a fucking them, I suppose that makes sense. Because you've now got 40-year-old hairy fucking weightlifters competing in the women's events. So, hey, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Nobody does. Nobody does. Perhaps that's the point. Sow confusion and discord everywhere we go to undermine the system. Question everything. The sky is fucking green, the grass is blue. I don't know what's going on, do you? Welcome to the future, ladies and gentlemen. Depression, anxiety and fucking lunacy reigns supreme, including digging up infantile insults from 10 years ago and cancelling people. Lefties, if you're listening, they're coming for you soon. So stop being a dickhead. Stop supporting outrageous communist ideologues and come back from the brink. You'll be much happier if you do. I touched on this recently during a live stream, but I want to cover it briefly.
My name is Melisa Ceballos. Other than my dad, actually, funny enough, I've got a whole family of Spurs fans. So, yeah.
Welcome back to Ceballos TV.
Right, so she's got a YouTube channel because she's trying to make some money off of being a bird that watches football, basically. So she's telling everyone that she's getting abused online, probably making it all up. This is what they do. You don't need any proof. The BBC doesn't want to see proof. The BBC doesn't care about proof. All they care about is, ooh, look, a story about people being rude. Front page fucking news, right? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's not even a story. It wouldn't be a story if someone knocked on a door and called her a cunt, let alone called her one on Twitter. It's worthless. It's meaningless. But this is the one piece I want to bring your attention to. Women in football say attitudes must change so that everyone can participate without fear of discrimination or trolling. Trolling, right? Let's put this in common parlance. Trolling is being rude, right? Officially, it's, which not a lot of people realise, right? I'm sure, again, lefties in the comments, oh, stop trolling. Trolling used to be an art form where you wind them up, but they don't realise that you're taking the piss out of them, is trolling. Trolling isn't simply disagreeing with a communist. I mean, try it. Go on Twitter and someone will say, Boris Johnson's a fascist, Goebbels, Nazi man. And you go, he's not a Nazi though, is he? I mean, there's a dictionary definition for a Nazi and he isn't one. And they go, trolling. That's not trolling. Disagreeing with a far left fuckwit who appears to have the historical nuance of a postage stamp isn't trolling. Disagreeing with someone is not trolling. We can all disagree. That's your right as a free man or woman or other them. That's not trolling. But nobody can say they can live their life in general, let alone being a football fan, without fear. Fear is something that comes from being a free human being. Fear is always going to exist unless you give up every single freedom you have because you're a lack-wit commie ideologue who thinks the state, if you give the state supreme power over everything and everyone, they'll be able to make you feel protected. And as I keep saying, the old adages always come back for a reason. Those who give up their liberty for some safety will get neither. You will get neither. No man or woman in a free country can ever live without fear. It's impossible. People might be rude to you, people may assault you, people may be mean to you. It's the price you pay for living in a free country. So don't listen to self-serving shitbags like Mel and her fictional tales about how everyone's mean because women shouldn't be... What do you mean? Half the fucking stadium's women in this day and age. There's loads of birds in the football grounds. Nobody cares. It's a lie. They make this shit up to try and make a name for themselves, and it works because now Ceballos TV's probably got 100,000 subs and she hasn't done any fucking work. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. But that is the underlying point I wish to make. I've had people sending me messages, women saying like, oh yeah, a woman should be free to walk down the street without fear. Why? And how will you achieve that? Want me to lock every single man in the entire fucking country up? That's the only way you're going to get there. Or force women to wear chastity belts and fucking melt the key. You're not going to get any action then when you do want some, are you? It's not a solution. It's not a solution. Anything you come up with to make you be able to never ever feel discomfort or hurt or sorrow or fear is an impossibility. It's a price we all pay. The right to risk being offended. You hear about young women in the 60s who argued for the right to risk being raped so they could be treated equally to the men. The men were allowed out on the piss all night, the women weren't. The deans would say, well, girls, it's because there's rapists and murderers out there. And the girls said, so what? We demand the right to be treated equally. We demand the right to take risks. And they have that right. And you have that right. But you don't have the right to tell me I'm not allowed to go out at night because you demand to feel safe. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about at a football game, walking through a fucking council estate at 2 o'clock in the morning, or standing on a bus paranoid that someone's going to slap your ass cheeks. It might happen. And there's laws to deal with it if it does. But you can do nothing about fear other than toughen up, stay alert, and be strong. And I recommend doing all of those things if you're a woman. But stop trying to stomp on people's rights because you're a fucking pussy, a wimp, a mentally ill narcissist, or any of these other pill-popping fucking weirdos we've got in this Generation Z crowd. You do not have the right to never feel fear in a free country. Get used to it. And if you don't like it, go and live somewhere where you probably won't have to deal with fear. Saudi Arabia, you probably won't have to deal with fear because you'll be dressed in a fucking ninja suit and you'll be locked in the house half the day and you won't be able to go out on your own. No fear there, or less fear. Do you think it sounds better? Not if you've got any fucking sense, you don't. The Brits 2021 was on. I'm not going to cover it much because, frankly, does anybody with more than 2 brain cells to rub together give a flying fuck what they have to say at the Brit Awards? However, I will say, maybe I'm showing my old age here, but it looks to me like the people that went to the Brit Awards all got dressed in the dark.
Welcome to the 41st Brit Awards in association with MasterCard.
The only one who looked remotely normal. Who knew being a straight white cis het gave you the ability to not dress like you just pull items at random out of the Salvation Army clothing bank? I mean, have you seen a clip of some of these people? Look at the dude on the right there. Look, what the fuck is that? Seriously, what is that? A set of curtains? It's looked like you pinched a pair of shorts off a circus elephant and then cut them to shreds and draped them over his body. It's like a cross between a fucking set of curtains, a radical jihadi, and the fucking Queen Mum. I've never seen anything like that. Never in my natch. And they pay people to dress them. They pay people to dress them, don't they? You want to get your money back, fella. Look at him. What the fuck's that all about? Looks like Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element, or the Pimp of the Year. Like a 1980s pimp with them platform shoes with goldfish in them. Look at the clip of him. Look at his hair. And why is he wearing a Michael Jackson glove? I thought that went out of fashion when they bulldozed that children's home that was full of pedos and they found the other fucking glove. I thought that went out of fashion then, but apparently not. It's not easy being a female in the UK pop industry. Oh, okay then. You're just fucking 60% of the industry. Yeah, it's not easy. Definitely not easy. Yeah, you have an hard life, you 3 fuckers, don't you? Yeah. Sitting in your fucking bubble baths with your 10 grand necklaces on, getting waited on by fucking slaves and quaffing champagne. Yeah, it's definitely not easy being a woman in the pop industry. Fuck me, it's the pop industry. I could understand if she said it's not easy being a woman logger. It's not easy being a female sewage worker. It's not easy being the woman who mops up the spunk at the wanking cinema. That wouldn't be easy, but you're a pop star, you dippy mare.
We've seen the white male dominance, misogyny, sexism, and lack of diversity. We're proud of...
Lack of diversity as well in the music industry. You're living in a fantasy fucking land. Love, it was diverse when Mark Morrison did Return of the Mac in about 1993. What do you think it looks like now? So again, they're living in a fucking fantasy land. But when you're a millionaire pop star, you want the victim points, don't you? You want to be a victim. This is why they love it. Because posh millionaires, I seen one on Twitter the other day going, oh, class isn't about where you went to school. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Class isn't about what your parents did for a living. Yes, it is. You didn't go to the shite comprehensive that I did, where black boxing and glue sniffing was a GCSE. You're posh. If you're a multi-millionaire pop star, you're not a victim, and you never will be. Wind your neck in, you privileged fucking slapper. What's she gonna? Is she gonna pull an Oprah Winfrey and tell some fucking one-legged homeless white guy that he's oppressing her? Take your head for a shit, you dippy fucking mare. Anyway, I'm not gonna go on and on about it. There's just that and that and that. It's like, yeah, patriarchy, cis het male scum. It was literally 90% birds and fucking brown people. And they're going to sit there and go, oh, what about all them white male bus drivers oppressing us? Nobody's buying it, ladies. You've got to be mentally ill to buy what they're selling. And everybody with eyes and ears knows it. There was also a piece about little Mrs. Leanne Pinnock saying my life's so fucking hard because I'm a millionaire with a tan, but I'm not going to cover it because frankly I think I'm sick of talking about the brain dead bint. And then another story about Asian hate crime. It's BBC, it's literally all week. It's just racist, sexist, homophobe all week, every fucking day. Hate crime, sexism. Listen, nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. If you hate it, why do you keep coming? Why is every single day the UK getting people by hook or by crook, stashed in the back of tomato vans, swimming over the channel, jumping in a fucking dinghy? If you believe that the UK is fucking awful, that the West is evil, why do you move heaven and earth to get there? Think the Chinese have stopped trying to get into fucking Britain? I don't think so. You don't believe it, BBC, you don't believe it. They don't believe it. She doesn't believe it. She doesn't believe it. It's nonsense. We all know it's nonsense. You will never stop coming. And you will never stop taking, while telling everybody that you've never had it so hard. In 2021, the most well-fed, well-clothed, privileged people in the fucking entirety of human history, and you want to cry me a river, and you've got millionaires saying, ooh, the men that peel the fucking crusty johnnies off the walls of the sewers in London, those privileged bastards. More champagne, Jeeves. You are talking nonsense. Last week I talked about an Italian man who was a doctor and he hadn't been to work for 28 years and they paid him the whole time. How stereotypically Italian is that? Well, look at this story. How Italy's healthcare staff survived the pandemic. Well, I have two fucking reasons why they survived the pandemic, and I think you probably know what they are. Number one, 99.9% of people that get the coronavirus don't die. So there's a pretty good way you survive the pandemic. And secondly, they didn't go to work and they got paid for it. Winner. That's how you survive the pandemic. Be a human under the age of 97 without two or more comorbidities pre-existing, or don't go to work and get paid because you're in Italy and they're fucking grossly incompetent. Easy. We can all do that, can't we? We can all do that. It's not like how to survive a tour of Afghanistan. How to drive down Route Irish without getting blown up by a suicide bomber. It's how to survive an ailment with a 99% survival rate. Yeah, doesn't sound like we need a guide, does it? I suppose I will finish with Israel-Gaza because it's the gift that keeps on giving, and I have to, don't I? I have to. All I will say is this. The BBC did a surprisingly good job with the Israel-Gaza violence explained, and it wasn't as ridiculously biased as they expected it to be. They obviously mentioned the fact that basically the genesis is after the fall of the Ottoman Empire. It obviously grew in size after the Holocaust. Ultimately, this will never be fixed because it was the same when we went to Northern Ireland. You have to both eat some shit if you want to get a peace deal. That's the nature of the peace. The British said, a lot of British soldiers say, oh, we won that one. A lot of the Irish say, we won that one. Ultimately, you get a ceasefire when both sides accept the fact that both sides have to eat a shit sandwich. The soldiers were pissed off. Every single IRA killer got released. And the IRA were pissed off because they didn't get their aim. They didn't get a united Ireland. That's called eating a shit sandwich. And that's what a peace deal is. This situation, you can point the finger of blame at both sides in this. You can. But you're never going to get a resolution. Not in our lifetimes. The only way you're going to get a resolution is if one side wipes out the other. The Israelis have the power to do it, but they won't because they're not complete barbarians, and the Palestinians with their full-blown anti-Semitic butcher all the Jews Mickey Mouse fucking cartoon programming for the kids, they indoctrinate the children and practice some of the most virulent hatred you can possibly imagine. So they would commit it, but they haven't got the power to do it. So stalemate. Stalemate. Suck it up, boys and girls. This is going to last longer than the extended version of Bat Out of Hell. Nothing we can do about it other than thank fuck we aren't there. Let's end on that high note, shall we? Not really a high note, but fuck it. Pubs are open soon and the sun's out, so I'm going for a pint. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in next week where I will once again regurgitate the overt communist propaganda spewed by our taxpayer-funded Marxist overlords. I am the very Angry Bootneck. You've just watched the BBC Spews, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers.